This is I can statement number 9, which is I can tell what the point of view of my novel is and prove how I know. And this is an I can statement that you can really complete at any point in your book. And I think that you could actually probably figure out the point of view of your book within the first couple of chapters. So there's 3 types of point of view. In first person point of view, this is where we have a character telling the story from their point of view. And the clue word that you really want to look for is the word I put together with an action, such as I saw this, I walked over here, I did this. A lot of books have the word I in it. That doesn't mean it's first person. It has to be that I put together with an action. The second type of narration is a second person point of view. And this is when the story is told from the reader's point of view. So where you, the reader, are put into kind of that main character and you're seeing the story through your eyes. And the clue word for this is the word you put together with an action. So a really famous book that does this is If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, where it's if you give a mouse a cookie, then this will happen. Another example of second person narration is any sort of choose your own adventure book, where it might say you walk down a hallway, then you choose to go through this door. So you see it's that word you put together with an action. The third kind of narration is third person, and this is where you have an outside narrator telling the story from their point of view. So it's not a character, it's not someone who's in the story at all, it's someone who's completely outside of the story. So almost think of they're like kind of a fly on the wall, this sort of invisible person hovering over the story, telling everything that's going on. And so because an outside narrator is telling the story, your clue words that you're going to look for is that narrator is going to tell you what the characters are doing, such as he or she walked across the room, he or she said this. You won't ever have someone telling you things from through their eyes. A third person narrator tells you from the outside of the story what's going on. So now that I know the different types of narrators, I need to start working on the steps. So first step is identifying who is telling my story. So is a character telling my story or is a narrator telling my story? Now there may be some of you who have multiple characters telling your story, and that's okay. That's still going to be a first person point of view because each chapter is told through a character's eyes, not a third person narrator's eyes. So what I'm going to be doing is for my example here, I'm going to be using our book, Freak the Mighty. And just a reminder that because that's a book title, I'm putting that in italics. And I'm thinking about Freak the Mighty, and what point of view is Freak the Mighty? And if I look on my book, I start to see that a character is telling my story, and that character is Max. And so that means the point of view of my story is first person because I'm noticing that a character, Max, is telling the story, and I've noticed there's that clue word, which is I plus the actions. So the point of view of Freak the Mighty is first person. Now what I need to do now is I need to give evidence from my book, including page numbers that shows the point of view. And so I know the point of view, and I'm just going to type in that it is first person because, and actually I can get this answer on page 1, and I'm telling you readers, you can almost always, 95% of the time, figure out what type of narrator you have on the first page of your book. So if you're not really sure what type of narrator you have, I would highly suggest just going to page 1 and looking there. And when I look on page number 1, I notice that it says right away, I never had a brain until Freak came along. And right away in that first sentence of my book, I know that I have a first person narrator because I see this word I. And so I'm going to show my knowledge. And I'm going to say this proves that it is first person because Max is telling the story through his point of view using the word I when describing the action that he sees through his own eyes. So taking a look at this I can statement, I first identified what type of narrator it was, and then I gave evidence using text, page numbers, to show what type of narrator I have. So this is how you complete I can statement number 9.